Hey everyone, my name is Coach Madeline, and we're going to be doing our Cook with Coach speaker series today on an Irish pub salad. It is still National Nutrition Month this month, March, and we just had St. Patrick's Day. So we're sticking with that theme while we jump into a nice salad recipe. So I hope you're going to enjoy today. But before we go ahead and jump in, a little bit about me is that I am a certified personal trainer, wellness practitioner, and certified health coach. What that looks like is I work with individuals one-on-one and also through health education and speaker series like these to just encourage motivation on healthy habits. And how we do that is through balance, awareness, and consistency. These are my main coaching pillars that I work with individuals on that help make reaching their goals attainable. And so I'm hoping that we'll pick up some things from our salad today that we'll want to incorporate. But to get into what we're going to be making, we're going to start off with food for fuel. What exactly is in our contents today? What are we eating? Then we're going to talk about food for our mood. How does food affect us? And then we're going to jump into making that salad and making the dressing. We're going to finish up with any key takeaways that we have today. So jumping right into food for fuel, food is not just about flavor, it's also about balance, right? You already saw me mention balance in our About Me slide and how that is so key. So taking a look at the nutritional ingredients is also going to be key, and it's going to encourage healthy eating and mindful living. So some of the things that we can take a look at, and I also have on the screen here, is our butter leaf lettuce. So our butter lettuce, we have our beets, our onions, tomatoes, we have cheese as well, eggs. And so some of the things that we're going to see from those items are antioxidants, lots of vitamins, especially from our lettuce. We're going to see vitamin K, vitamin A, from our tomatoes and cucumbers, especially. A little bit of digging on cucumbers helps manage blood sugar, and beets help with blood pressure. So beets are also going to be an important ingredient in our salad today, and they're fermented. So we're going to talk about the fermenting process. But I found these, it's a little bit of a hack here, already fermented beets ready to go. So this could be convenient if you're looking to quickly put your salad together. But if you want to go through the whole pickling process, we're going to talk about that later. But what fermentation does is it introduces probiotics to the gut, which is going to help the microbiome. So we want to support our stomach and our microbiome, and these are some of the foods that are going to help do that. So without further ado, let's take a look at food for our mood. And for here, we're really trying to understand and notice how food feels as we digest. How a lighter salad might make us feel a little cleaner and energized versus maybe having a heavy bowl of corned beef and cabbage, right, with the broth. So just understanding that. And I even mentioned here in this slide again that pickled items, after going through that fermentation process, introduces those bacteria, those probiotics that are friendly to the gut that help us to digest better. So you've noticed for sure that food affects your mood. So let's see how this salad is going to affect us, because I had a little bit of a taste of it already and I really enjoyed it. So just to go over exactly how we're going to make the salad, we're going to first just start by creating that bed of lettuce and gathering all of our ingredients, making sure things are washed and cut. And then we're going to assemble, and then we get to enjoy. So a pretty quick way to make the salad. So just to start prepping, like I mentioned, we want to have everything ready to go. So that's going to start with our boiled eggs. I have my hard-boiled eggs here already. We're really going to need just one, but I have a couple extra for more salads later. So make sure that it's peeled, it's ready to go, and we're going to slice it in half. So I'm going to take just one of my eggs for now. Move my cheese, my Dubliner cheese off my cutting board, and we're just going to do a half cut. Let me grab one more because I love eggs on my salad. So I'm going to have those set off to the side. And it even says to salt and pepper them, but I'm going to wait until the end to do that because I like to just put my salt and pepper on all at the same time so I'm not overdoing salt on my plate. So after we get the eggs cut, we're gonna wanna wash everything else and have it ready to go. So that's gonna be our butter lettuce. Um, this is what it looks like, right? Inside of its container. There are some that are literally still growing, so they have the root on it still. So this will actually stay good longer. It's also really fresh and crisp. So you can find that in your produce section. This is all washed and ready to go. So I'm going to lay those 8 to 10 butter leaf lettuce on my plate in any fashion. If you want to make it fancy, feel free to. I don't know how fancy this is looking. Um, and so then we're going to go to our cucumbers. If you like these to be peeled, feel free to do that. I love eating the skin on most of my vegetables, so I'm going to keep the skin on actually, and I'm just going to take about a third of it. Put that with my egg for now. And then it wants us to cut it halfway and then into these slices. So that is what it's going to look like, kind of thin and a half. And then I'm just going to push that to the side again. I think that's enough cucumbers for my one salad. If you're making this for maybe a group of people, you want to have maybe more prepped. Then we're going to go to our grape tomatoes, which again should already be washed and ready to go. I'm just taking a couple. Again, I'm just making that one salad for me. And they just want you to cut these in half. There we go. So we've got our tomatoes, cucumbers, eggs, lettuce. Let's see what's next is our onion. So I have my white onion here, and you can see it's kind of sliced up because, I'll take pieces and chunks and just throw them into pretty much everything with my garlic to get started with things. So let me pull off my skin layer and then kind of cut these long ways. Because they're very, very artistic with the way that the recipe is sharing to cut the onions. So they want to see them in these kind of strips to lay on top. So we have most of our ingredients ready to go. And then we're going to look at our beets. I'm realizing that we're actually on we moved ahead to our pickled beets slide. So just jumping back. So we've got our cucumbers, they're sliced. We've got our grapes. Now we're looking at the cheddar cheese. And I found this fantastic resource at the store. It's just a bag of these single sliced ones. They're not even a full ounce. This isn't even a full ounce. It says it's 0.75 ounces. So I'm grabbing one of these for mine because that will help me with portion control, especially. So I'm going to go ahead and slice that up to my liking. You could do a little more or less. I'm going to go on the less side just because I like that cheese flavor, but I don't always like it to overwhelm everything. So I've got some of my slices of cheese here. And then we're going to jump into the beets next. So you might have seen a little bit of a teaser on our next slide, but here's what the pickling beets will look like if you didn't find maybe something like this at your local grocery store. So let's read through what we're going to have to do to pickle some beets. So first you want to add vinegar, pickling spices, which you can pick up at the store as well, sugar and salt, and a half cup of water to a saucepan. You're going to heat up the mixture, and then you're going to add the sugar and salt until it's dissolved. It says it's about 4 minutes. I didn't give this a go, so I don't have that ability to tell you like exactly when the things were really melding all together. But then we're going to turn off the heat and go ahead and add our beets. We want to have them cut in 1/2 to 1 inch cubes. And then we're going to add them to that airtight container with the pickling spices poured on top. We're then going to refrigerate it for 24 hours to use later. So I have the ingredients over on the right-hand side. We have apple cider vinegar, pickling spices, granulated sugar, salt, 1 to 3 medium cooked beets, and dill springs. Dill springs you can get dried as well. It looks like this. So let's keep going because we do not need to go through that pickling process because really I lucked out with this. I feel like although it is more convenient, it is a processed item. So just take a look at the ingredients and make sure that that works for you. So now we're going to put the dressing together, and the dressing from the recipe, I personally had to kind of mess around with. So please feel free to just change the recipe as needed. As you can see, I'm just going to read through the ingredients. We have mayonnaise, rice vinegar, tarragon, Dijon mustard, water, salt, pepper, and sugar to taste. Because we have the Dijon mustard and the rice vinegar, I feel like both of those are pretty, vinegary at its base. And so I actually reduced the amount of rice vinegar and the amount of mayo from the original recipe. So go ahead and just mess with it to fit your needs, right? So like we said, we talked about some of the ingredients. That looks like rice vinegar, about a tablespoon of that. Dijon mustard, again, about a tablespoon. And I reduced this to a half of a tablespoon. The salt, pepper, and sugars to taste. And then we have our tarragon. So I went ahead and mixed that up already. So you can see that the consistency is a little light. Maybe I added too much water. You can just add your mayo back in, or when you make your dressing, just look to not add as much water. But this is the consistency that will drizzle right all over my salad. So I think that's going to be good enough for me. So once you whisk together your mayonnaise, vinegar, tarragon, Dijon mustard in your bowl, you want to sprinkle it with the salt and pepper, and then add the water until you reach the consistency that you'd like. So if that's not the consistency you'd like, just be aware that it is affected by the water. So once it's nice and smooth and seasoned, go ahead and drizzle that on the salad. But let's put it together first, right? So it just says to assemble, lay those things on there. No crazy way to do this. All right. Whatever feels good, whatever is calling you. Got my white onions and my Dubliner cheese. I'm going to just sprinkle it on as well. Let me slice up my beets really quick. And we'll get to add that as well. I don't know if I want to slice these up. Maybe I will. But if you'd want to, you could also just kind of lay them on, it looks like. I'm going to strip them up a little bit so they're easier for my fork to grab. So again, no right way to do your beets, to cut them, to slice them, to lay them even. But this is what my salad is looking like right now with all those ingredients on top. And so now I'm going to add that dressing. And I'm really excited. Here's our salad. I'm going to make sure to give this a good try and let you know how it goes. For the rest of our presentation today, I just want to pause here for our thought cuisine and just say, food has the power to bring people together. When it's a family dinner, whether it's street food or a holiday feast, sharing meals, even virtually, creates that social bond and can really create something special. So whether you're with your family and friends or you're doing it together with them, just remember that, cooking can be an act of love, and we're really able to share that with others. So what are some of your key takeaways from our slides today? What are some of the things that you're going to take home to your kitchen and give a try? Maybe you're going to add some fermented foods. Maybe you're going to give this salad recipe a try. Maybe you're going to add eggs to your salads more often just because you like that idea. So whatever you picked up, please feel free to let me know. My email is Madeline at totalmotiontraining.com. Thank you so much for joining, and I look forward to having you on future speaker series. Thanks again, and take care.